Have you ever felt like life is constantly pushing you around? Like every little thing adds pressure, stress, or worry, and no matter what you do, calm and positivity seem out of reach. The truth is, staying calm and positive is not about escaping life or pretending everything is fine. It's about learning how your mind works, noticing your feelings before they take over, and taking small practical steps that protect your peace every day. It's about training your thoughts so they serve you instead of draining you. In this video, you're going to discover exactly how to do that. You'll learn how to handle challenges without losing control, how to replace negative stories in your mind with ones that empower you, and how to create habits that keep your energy steady and your mind clear. By the end of this video, you'll have simple, actionable tools to stay calm no matter what life throws at you, and to build a mindset that naturally attracts positivity. This isn't theory. This is a way to change your life one small step at a time. Chapter 1. Notice your feelings to stop stress before it grows. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you feel isn't always energy or excitement. Sometimes it's tension. Sometimes it's a heaviness you can't explain. That heaviness is often the start of stress, creeping in quietly before you even notice it. Most people wait until stress becomes loud. They wait until their minds are racing, their hearts are pounding, or they feel physically drained before they take action. By then, it's harder to regain calm, and positivity feels like a distant memory. But the first step to living a calm and positive life is noticing your feelings the moment they appear, before stress has a chance to grow. Your mind is constantly sending signals. Your body is constantly speaking to you. When you feel irritation rise or anxiety start to form, that is not something to ignore. It is a message. It is your inner self signaling that something in your environment or in your thoughts is out of balance. The sooner you recognize these feelings, the sooner you can respond instead of reacting. You can choose your path rather than letting life push you wherever it wants. The truth is, stress is never caused by circumstances alone. It is caused by how you interpret those circumstances. When you notice your feelings early, you get to step outside of the immediate moment and examine the situation clearly. If someone said something that annoyed you, if a task feels overwhelming, or if your body feels tight and restless, pause, acknowledge the feeling, don't judge it, don't push it away. Recognizing it is the first act of taking control over your inner state. Feeling tension in your chest, a knot in your stomach, or racing thoughts isn't a weakness, it's information. Human beings are wired to respond to challenges, and your body is giving you feedback. The more aware you become of these signs, the less they control you. You start to notice the pattern of your feelings before they become habits. This is a subtle but profound skill. Most people spend their lives reacting to their feelings after they've grown into full-blown stress. You can choose a different approach. You can respond before stress escalates. There is power in observation. When you notice a feeling rising, you gain a moment to make a conscious choice. You can decide what thought to feed. You can decide what action to take. If anger or fear arises, acknowledging it calmly allows you to slow down your response. That pause is everything. That pause is the difference between a day dominated by tension and a day guided by your own calm. It is in these moments that the seed of a positive mindset is planted. Stress often grows because people ignore these early feelings. They push them down with distractions, with work, or with excuses. They hope the feeling will disappear on its own. It rarely does. Ignored stress compounds over hours and days. It affects decisions, clouds judgment, and impacts relationships. When you notice your feelings early, you stop this compounding. You stop stress from building like a storm inside you. You intercept it before it has a chance to control your thoughts or dictate your action. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your mind. Stress and negativity often start as small signals. A tension in your shoulders, a shallow breath, a fleeting irritation. These are subtle cues, but they are consistent. The more you train yourself to notice them, the easier it becomes to respond effectively. Awareness is the key. Awareness is the bridge between a life ruled by circumstances and a life ruled by conscious choice. Once you notice your feelings, the next step is to name them. Say to yourself, this is anger, this is frustration, this is fear, this is anxiety. Naming a feeling removes some of its power. It turns an abstract unease into something you can address. You begin to see it as a signal rather than a threat. Your mind begins to operate from observation instead of reaction. This simple action, noticing and naming your feelings, is one of the most powerful tools for staying calm in life. The human brain is incredibly responsive to attention. What you pay attention to grows. If you ignore the rising stress, it grows uncontrollably. If you notice it, it starts to shrink. It starts to become manageable. This is not wishful thinking. This is human psychology. Your awareness directs your energy. When you intentionally observe your feelings, you influence your emotional state. You take part in creating calm instead of allowing chaos. Awareness alone is not enough. It must be paired with action. The action can be small but deliberate. A deep breath, a pause, a slow stretch, or a moment of reflection. Even 5 seconds of conscious awareness can interrupt the chain reaction of stress. When you notice your feelings, and then take a deliberate step to center yourself, you begin to train your mind. You begin to build resilience. You begin to create a life where calm and positivity are natural responses, rather than rare exceptions. The first step is noticing. The second step is allowing. Allow the feeling to exist without judgment. Most people resist uncomfortable feelings, which only intensifies them. You do not need to fight or suppress stress. You do not need to feel guilty for being anxious or upset. Allow it. Accept it as information. Let it tell you something about your current state and your needs. This is not surrender. This is strategy. This is human wisdom applied to everyday life. The next step is deciding how to respond. You are not powerless. You always have a choice. You can choose a positive action, a calming thought, or a deliberate pause. You can redirect your attention to something productive, something inspiring, something nurturing. Every moment you notice a feeling is a moment you reclaim control over your life. Every time you choose consciously instead of reacting automatically, you reinforce your calm and your ability to maintain positivity. Awareness also improves relationship. When you notice your feelings early, you are less likely to lash out or act in frustration. You communicate better. You listen better. You make decisions that strengthen, rather than damage your life. This is practical, everyday wisdom, not theory, not empty talk. This is what human psychology teaches about managing stress and cultivating positivity. Imagine your day starting with this skill. The alarm goes off, and before you even get out of bed, you scan your body and mind. You feel a little tension in your shoulders, a flicker of worry in your thoughts. You notice it, you acknowledge it. You breathe, you choose your next step. That day is already different from every day before. You are in control, you are calm, you are aware, you are shaping your life. This is not something that requires extraordinary circumstances. It is available to everyone, every single day. It is not about eliminating stress. Stress is part of life. It is about noticing it before it grows. It is about responding effectively. It is about creating a habit of awareness that empowers you to live with calm and positivity. Practice builds this skill. The more you notice your feelings, the easier it becomes. At first it may feel awkward or slow. You may feel unsure, but persistence pays off. Every day you train yourself to notice your feelings. You build a foundation for a more stable mind and a happier life. You begin to respond to challenges rather than being consumed by them. Your energy is preserved. Your relationships improve, and your inner peace grows. The science behind this is simple. Your nervous system responds to what your mind focuses. When you notice feelings early and respond intentionally, You train your nervous system to remain calm under pressure. You train your brain to find solutions instead of reacting with panic. You create a life where challenges are met with clarity, not chaos. Notice your feelings today. Stop stress before it grows. Observe without judgment. Name your feelings. Take a deliberate action to center yourself. Every single moment you practice this, you are training yourself to remain calm and positive. Every single day you do this, you create a life that is not controlled by circumstances, but guided by conscious choice. The people who succeed in life are not those who never feel stress or negativity. They are the ones who notice their feelings before they escalate, who respond instead of reacting, who take control over their minds and their energy. This is the real work of living a calm and positive life. It is simple, it is practical, it is powerful, and it is available to you right now, in this moment. Your calm is not given by others. Your positivity is not granted by circumstances. It is cultivated through awareness, attention, and choice. Notice your feelings. Stop stress before it grows. Respond consciously. Choose your thought. Choose your actions. Step into a life where calm and positivity are not occasional visitors, but everyday companions. This is the foundation of personal growth. This is the beginning of resilience. This is the start of living a life where your emotions serve you, your mind is your ally, and your days are filled with clarity, focus, and calm. Start noticing today. Start stopping stress today. Start choosing calm and positivity today. Your life will never be the same.
Chapter 2. Choose your thoughts to shape your daily experience. Your mind is the single most powerful tool you have in life. Every day, every moment, it is shaping your experience, whether you realize it or not. Thoughts are not just fleeting images in your head. They are forces that direct your attention, your actions, and ultimately your reality. Choosing your thoughts is not about pretending everything is perfect or ignoring challenges. It is about taking responsibility for what you use to occupy your mind and influence your life. The quality of your day, the quality of your work, and the quality of your relationships are all linked to the choices you make inside your mind. Most people wake up and let their thoughts run wild. They replay worries from yesterday, fear tomorrow's problems, or focus on things they cannot change. These thoughts are like a storm, dragging emotions along with them. You do not have to live that way. You have the ability to guide your thoughts, to intentionally choose what you focus on. This choice is simple in theory, but powerful in effect. It is the difference between a life of reaction and a life of conscious creation. To choose your thoughts, the first step is awareness. Notice the content of your mind. What thoughts come up first thing in the morning? What thoughts dominate when you are stressed or tired? Becoming aware of these patterns allows you to intervene before they take over your day. Awareness is not judgment. It is observation. You are not criticizing yourself for thinking certain things. You are simply noticing them, understanding that these thoughts have the power to shape your emotions and actions. Once you are aware, you can decide which thoughts serve you and which ones do not. This is an act of personal power. Thoughts that focus on fear, limitation, or negativity rarely help you move forward. They create tension, anxiety, and doubt. Thoughts that focus on growth, possibility, and solution building empower you. They build confidence, resilience, and clarity. Choosing your thoughts is about giving your mind a direction. It is about training your brain to focus on what is constructive rather than destructive. The next step is practice. Your mind has been conditioned for years to follow old patterns. Negative or anxious thoughts appear automatically. That is normal. Change does not come instantly. It comes through consistent repetition. When you notice a thought that is unhelpful, replace it with one that is helpful. If you catch yourself worrying about a problem, switch your focus to what you can do about it. If fear starts creeping in, remind yourself of past successes and solutions you have already found. This is not denial. This is strategy. This is choosing thoughts that lead to better outcomes. It is also important to understand that thoughts are connected to feelings. A thought shapes how you feel, and a feeling shapes what you do. If you allow negative thoughts to dominate, your feelings will follow, and your actions will be limited. Positive and intentional thoughts create empowering feelings, and those feelings lead to actions that produce better results. This is the chain that connects thought to life. The stronger your skill in choosing your thoughts, the more control you have over the rest of the chain. Choosing your thoughts also requires discipline. Life will throw challenges, disappointments, and unexpected events at you. The external world cannot be controlled, but your internal world can. When faced with difficult situations, the mind tends to spiral into fear, blame, or frustration. By actively choosing your thoughts, you interrupt this spiral. You step back and ask yourself, what thought right now will help me act wisely and feel stronger? This question shifts your focus from what is outside your control to what is inside your control. It is useful to create mental habits that reinforce positive thought patterns. This might include daily reflection, journaling, or repeating empowering statements to yourself. Habits are the building blocks of your mental environment. Just as you choose healthy food for your body, you must choose healthy thoughts for your mind. Regularly feeding your mind thoughts of growth, solution, and gratitude strengthens your capacity to remain calm and positive, even under pressure. The language you use inside your mind matters immensely. Words like can, will, and able encourage action and confidence. Words like can't, impossible, or never create barriers. Paying attention to the words you use in your thoughts is a practical way to influence your mindset. You are not simply thinking, you are talking to yourself. The way you speak to yourself determines the level of optimism and resilience you carry through your day. Another powerful tool is visualization. Choosing a thought can also mean imagining a successful outcome or seeing yourself handling a situation calmly. When you visualize the path you want to take, you prepare your mind for action. You create a mental rehearsal that influences your real behavior. Visualization reinforces your chosen thoughts and strengthens your ability to respond to life with clarity instead of panic. It is equally important to avoid thought clutter. Many people allow their minds to be filled with unnecessary worry, gossip, or criticism. This mental noise makes it harder to focus on what is important and keeps stress levels high. Choosing your thoughts means deciding which mental inputs you allow. Pay attention to what you read, watch, or listen to. Surround yourself with ideas, information, and people that support clarity, positivity, and progress. The environment you create around your mind has a direct impact on the thoughts you can choose. Daily reflection is another practice that strengthens the ability to choose thought. Taking even a few minutes each day to review your mental patterns allows you to see where your thinking served you and where it did not. Reflection is not about guilt or blame. It is about learning. It is about understanding what triggers negative thoughts and what encourages empowering ones. Over time, this awareness allows you to anticipate and guide your thoughts before challenges arise. Choosing your thoughts also involves letting go of what you cannot control. Many negative thoughts come from clinging to outcomes or situations that are outside your influence. By focusing on what you can control, your attention, your effort, your attitude, you redirect your energy toward constructive action. This shift is empowering because it removes the unnecessary weight of worry and allows you to act with confidence. It is helpful to remind yourself throughout the day that you are in charge of your mind. Whenever you catch a negative or unproductive thought, pause acknowledge it, then replace it with one that strengthens your focus and peace. This repeated practice rewires your brain to favor thoughts that support calm and positivity. This is not magic. This is the practical application of human psychology. The mind is like a muscle. The more you exercise it intentionally, the stronger and more disciplined it becomes. Thoughts also influence your relationships. When you choose empowering thoughts, you are calmer, more patient, and more present with others. You communicate clearly, you listen actively, and you respond with understanding instead of frustration. Positive thoughts do not just improve your internal experience, they improve every interaction you have. By shaping your daily experience through thought, you enhance both your personal and social life. Another important aspect is consistency. Choosing thoughts is not a one-time effort. It requires daily attention and practice. You will encounter distractions, setbacks, and moments when old thinking patterns return. That is normal. What matters is returning to the practice. Every choice you make to direct your thoughts toward clarity and positivity strengthens your ability to do it again the next day. Over time, this creates a resilient and empowered mindset. Energy is also shaped by thought. The way you think determines the level of mental and emotional energy you bring to life. Thoughts that focus on possibility, progress, and solutions increase vitality. Thoughts that dwell on fear, blame, or limitation drain energy. Choosing thoughts that are constructive allows you to show up fully in your work, your relationships, and your personal growth. You are more effective, more confident, and more present when your mind is trained in this way. Choosing your thoughts is the foundation of self-mastery. Without it, your moods and actions are at the mercy of circumstances. With it, you become a creator of your own experience. Life becomes a series of conscious decisions rather than a string of reactions. You gain control over your day before events have a chance to control you. You gain freedom to focus on what matters and to build the life you want. Your mind will always produce thoughts. The challenge is not to stop thinking. The challenge is to guide thinking. When a negative thought arises, you are not powerless. You can notice it, acknowledge it, and then intentionally replace it with a thought that serves you better. This simple act transforms your experience, improves your responses, and elevates your perspective. It is practical, it is repeatable, and it is within your control. Imagine going through your day with the ability to choose your thoughts. Every conversation becomes easier, every challenge becomes manageable, every decision becomes clearer. You carry yourself with calm, you respond with positivity, and you approach life with confidence. This is not an abstract concept, it is a skill that anyone can develop. It starts with attention, awareness, and the deliberate practice of directing your thoughts toward what is helpful, constructive, and empowering. There is also a deeper truth in this practice. Thoughts create habits. Habits create character, and character shapes destiny. By consistently choosing your thoughts, you influence the person you become over time. You are building resilience, patience, focus, and optimism. With every thought you allow, you are shaping not just your day, but your life, moment by moment. Choosing thoughts is not about ignoring problems. It is about responding to them with clarity and effectiveness. When your mind is trained, you can face difficulties without panic or despair. You can think strategically, act decisively, and maintain peace. This ability allows you to thrive in situations where others crumble. It gives you an advantage that is both practical and profound. You can practice choosing your thoughts right now. Begin by observing the thoughts running through your mind. Identify one that is unhelpful. Replace it with one that serves your well-being and goals. Notice how your mood shifts, how your energy changes, and how your focus improves. These small practices compound over time. They create a life where calm, clarity, and positivity are your default responses, not occasional experiences. Every day, every hour,
You have a choice. You can let your mind wander aimlessly into fear and negativity, or you can choose the thoughts that empower you. The skill of guiding your mind is not reserved for a few. It is available to anyone willing to practice. It requires attention, patience, and commitment. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. The more you choose your thoughts, the more your daily experience becomes a reflection, your best self. Choosing your thoughts is the ultimate form of personal responsibility. It is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It determines the quality of your life, your relationships, and your performance. It determines the way you handle challenges, opportunities, and everyday experiences. Every thought you choose is an investment in a better day, a stronger mind, and a calmer, more positive life.
Chapter 3. Pause before reacting to handle challenges with clarity. Life is filled with moments that test your patience. Every day brings situations that push against your calm, your confidence, and your sense of control. When something goes wrong, when someone irritates you, or when unexpected obstacles appear, most people react immediately. They respond before thinking, letting their emotions dictate their words and actions. This is how stress multiplies and opportunities slip away. The key to staying calm and positive in life is learning to pause before reacting. This pause is not hesitation, it is strategy. It is the difference between being controlled by events and taking control over them. Pausing allows you to step out of automatic reactions. Without a pause, emotions dominate. You say things you regret, make decisions that lead to regret, and feel tension that lingers long after the moment has passed. Every reaction has a consequence. Every action has a consequence. Every action has a ripple effect. By introducing a pause, you insert clarity between the stimulus and your response. You give yourself the space to choose the best course of action instead of responding impulsively. This practice is simple in concept, but transformative in effect. The pause begins with awareness. The moment you feel a surge of emotion, recognize it. Do not push it away. Do not ignore it. Simply acknowledge, I feel tension rising. Naming the experience in your mind removes some of its intensity. It transforms an uncontrollable wave into information you can act upon. Awareness is not passivity. It is the first step toward conscious decision-making. When you notice emotions as they emerge, you take ownership of your reactions instead of allowing them to own you. Breathing is one of the most immediate ways to create a pause. Deep, controlled breaths slow the heart rate, relax the muscles, and give the mind a moment to recalibrate. Most people underestimate the power of breathing. It is more than a biological function, it is a tool for self-regulation. In a stressful moment, a single deep breath allows you to step back mentally and observe the situation objectively. It is a reset button that gives you control over your body and mind. Pausing also provides a chance to consider the bigger picture. When something frustrating occurs, your first instinct might be to react strongly. That is natural. Your survival instincts are designed to respond quickly. But modern challenges are rarely life-threatening. A pause allows you to evaluate the importance of the moment. Will this decision matter tomorrow? Will it matter next week? Often, what feels urgent is not actually significant. By pausing, you prioritize your energy for what truly matters. Reflection during the pause is equally important. Ask yourself questions before responding. What outcome do I want? What response will serve me best? How will this action affect my goals and relationships? Answering these questions requires honesty and self-awareness. It requires stepping out of the emotional heat of the moment and into the realm of reason. This mental shift is what allows clarity to replace impulse. You transform stress into strategic thinking, frustration into opportunity, and conflict into understanding.
Pausing also helps prevent regret. Most people react and later wish they had handled situations differently. Harsh words, rushed decisions, or impulsive behaviors often create tension that could have been avoided. By taking a pause, you protect yourself from regret. You ensure that your actions align with your values and long-term goals rather than temporary emotion. Each pause is an investment in integrity and wisdom. This practice strengthens relationships. Interpersonal conflicts often escalate because people react too quickly. They respond defensively, criticize impulsively, or misinterpret intentions. Pausing allows you to listen before speaking. It allows you to understand another person's perspective. It allows you to respond calmly and constructively. Your words carry more weight when they are thoughtful rather than reactive. Your actions earn respect when they reflect control rather than care. Creating a pause is a habit that grows with repetition. At first it may feel awkward. You might catch yourself reacting before you remember to pause. That is natural. The mind and body are accustomed to automatic patterns. Persistence is required. Each time you successfully pause, you reinforce the neural pathways that support calm and deliberate responses. Over time, pausing becomes second nature, and clarity becomes your default approach to challenges. Another aspect of pausing is separating facts from interpretation. Often, the emotions you feel are not about reality, but about your perception of it. By taking a pause, you examine the situation more objectively. You consider evidence, context, and multiple perspectives before reacting. This reduces misunderstandings and prevents emotional escalation. Clarity comes from observation, not assumption, and the pause gives you the space to observe clearly. It is also helpful to create a mental cue for pausing. Something as simple as a brief inward acknowledgement like pause or breathe can trigger a moment of reflection. This small signal interrupts automatic reactions and signals to your mind that it is time to shift from impulse to intention. These cues become anchors that remind you to respond thoughtfully, especially during high-pressure moments. Pausing also provides an opportunity to focus on solutions instead of problems. When people react immediately, they often dwell on what went wrong rather than what can be done next. By taking a moment to pause, you redirect your energy from complaint to problem solving. You identify practical steps, allocate resources, and choose actions that lead to resolution rather than escalation. This approach not only reduces stress, but also increases effectiveness and productivity. The pause strengthens emotional resilience. Each time you interrupt a reaction, you demonstrate to yourself that you are capable of managing your emotions. You build confidence in your ability to remain composed under pressure. Life will continue to challenge you, but with consistent practice, you learn to maintain inner stability. The pause is your tool to navigate difficulties without losing balance or perspective. Pausing also cultivates self-compassion. People often react harshly to themselves when things go wrong. They criticize, blame, or become frustrated with their own mistakes. A pause allows you to step back, recognize that imperfection is human, and respond with patience. This approach fosters a positive mindset and encourages learning rather than self-punishment. It transforms mistakes into growth opportunities instead of sources of stress. Even in professional settings, pausing is critical. Meetings, negotiations, and conversations often require immediate responses, but a brief pause before speaking allows you to choose your words carefully, consider implications, and convey confidence. People notice thoughtful responses. They trust deliberate actions. By pausing, you elevate the quality of your interactions and create influence without aggression or haste. It is important to remember that the pause does not mean inaction. Pausing is not avoidance or procrastination. It is preparation. It is the act of collecting information, emotions, and intentions before taking decisive action.
In this sense, the pause increases effectiveness rather than reducing it. It makes your responses sharper, clearer, and more aligned with your objectives. Pausing is also a tool for personal growth. Every moment you pause, you practice self-control. You exercise discipline. You refine your ability to respond rather than react. These skills transfer to other areas of life. You become more consistent, more reliable, and more resilient. Your habits of thought and behavior shift toward calmness and positivity because each pause reinforces intentional living. The mind often rushes because it fears missing opportunities or losing control. Pausing teaches you that control comes from clarity, not speed. It teaches you that careful observation and thoughtful action lead to better outcomes than hurried reactions. Life rewards those who respond wisely rather than those who react impulsively. The pause is your bridge to measured decision-making and empowered living. Pausing also influences how you experience time. When you react impulsively, moments slip by in a blur of emotion and activity. When you pause, you slow down. You experience life with more presence and awareness. This sense of presence allows you to appreciate nuances, understand dynamics, and make more informed choices. Your days become more intentional, more productive, and more fulfilling. Over time, pausing becomes a natural part of your character. It develops into a habit that influences every action and decision. You no longer feel carried away by circumstances. You develop mastery over your mind and emotions. You gain a steady confidence that allows you to navigate challenges without unnecessary stress. You move through life with a calm and positive energy that attracts opportunity and strengthens relationships. Pausing is a choice. It is a decision made repeatedly, moment by moment. Life will continue to test patience, challenge your perspective, and create tension. Your success and peace depend not on avoiding these challenges, but on how you respond to them. By consistently choosing to pause, you reclaim your power, strengthen your clarity, and build a life where calm and positivity are the foundation of every action. The practice of pausing also enhances problem solving. When emotions are high, your ability to think clearly diminishes. A pause reduces emotional intensity and allows rational thinking to return. It allows creativity to flourish. It allows solutions to appear that were invisible in the heat of immediate reaction. Challenges become opportunities when met with a calm and focused mind. Pausing transforms ordinary people into leaders in their own life. Every leader, mentor, and successful person has learned to stop, assess, and respond deliberately. They understand that reactive behavior limits growth. They understand that deliberate action produces consistent results. By incorporating pauses, you develop clarity, strengthen decision-making, and cultivate influence that comes from reasoned thought rather than unchecked emotion. To practice pausing effectively, start with small situations. Notice when irritation arises in conversation. Pause before replying to emails or messages that trigger stress. Observe internal reactions to minor inconveniences. Each small pause reinforces the habit, making it easier to pause in higher stakes situations. The cumulative effect is a life guided by thoughtfulness, calm, and positivity. Pausing is not a limitation, it is freedom. Freedom from impulsive decisions, freedom from unnecessary stress, freedom from regret. Every moment you pause, you take control of your life. You demonstrate to yourself that you can handle challenges with clarity. You show the world that you are capable of responding thoughtfully. This skill shapes not only your day, but the trajectory of your life. When pausing becomes second nature, you experience life differently. You notice opportunities sooner. You respond more effectively. You maintain your energy longer. You experience deeper satisfaction in your relationships and work. The pause is your tool for transforming reactive living into intentional living. It turns ordinary moments into opportunities for clarity, growth, and strength. Life is constant, unpredictable, and sometimes challenging. Reacting impulsively leads to unnecessary stress and missed opportunities. Pausing before reacting changes everything. It allows you to act with reason, speak with thoughtfulness, and move with purpose. It strengthens resilience, cultivates positivity, and builds a foundation for lasting calm. Each pause is a moment of empowerment that shapes the quality of your day, your decisions, and your life.
Chapter 4. Focus on progress, not perfection, to reduce pressure. Life has a way of putting pressure on us from all directions. There are deadlines to meet, expectations to exceed, and standards that feel impossible. It's easy to get caught in a trap of trying to be perfect in everything you do. The problem is perfection does not exist as a constant state. It is an ideal that keeps moving further away the harder you chase it. Striving for perfection creates stress, robs energy, and reduces satisfaction. The key to staying calm and positive is to focus on progress instead of perfection. Progress is measurable, achievable, and empowering. It allows you to move forward without being paralyzed by fear or unrealistic standards. Progress is about improvement. It is about becoming better today than you were yesterday. It is about consistent action rather than flawless results. People who focus on progress understand that mistakes are not failures. They are information. They are opportunities to learn, adjust, and move forward with greater clarity. Each step forward, no matter how small, contributes to growth. This mindset replaces pressure with purpose, tension with action, and frustration with achievement. The first step in focusing on progress is to redefine your standards. High standards are valuable, but they must be realistic. Perfectionistic standards are rigid, unattainable, and discouraging. Progress-oriented standards are flexible, clear, and motivating. They provide benchmarks to measure improvement rather than impossible ideals. When you set standards that allow incremental growth, you create an environment where effort is rewarded, mistakes are tolerated, and learning is continuous. This mindset reduces unnecessary stress and increases confidence. It is also important to track your progress. Most people are unaware of how far they have come because they only focus on what is left to achieve. By noticing what you have accomplished, you reinforce the value of consistent effort. Tracking progress does not require complicated tools. It can be as simple as noting completed tasks, reflecting on lessons learned, or recording small wins at the end of each day. This practice highlights movement rather than shortcomings, giving a clear picture of advancement. Focusing on progress also involves shifting attention from outcomes to effort. Results are influenced by external factors, timing, and circumstances beyond your control. Effort, however, is always within your reach. Every action you take toward improvement counts. By valuing effort, you reduce the pressure to achieve flawless outcomes and concentrate on what truly matters: consistent work toward your goals. Effort becomes the metric of success rather than perfection. Mindset is central to this approach. People who strive for perfection often engage in self-criticism. They magnify small mistakes and minimize achievements. This pattern leads to stress, frustration, and discouragement. By focusing on progress, you cultivate self-compassion. You learn to acknowledge effort, celebrate improvement, and encourage yourself rather than berate yourself. This creates a healthier relationship with your goals, your work, and your life. It is also lawful to break large goals into smaller, actionable steps. Big goals often trigger the perfection trap because they feel overwhelming. By dividing objectives into smaller, manageable tasks, you focus on achievable progress rather than a distant, intimidating ideal. Each completed step reinforces momentum, strengthens confidence, and reduces anxiety. The accumulation of small actions produces significant results over time,
proving that progress is more powerful than chasing perfection. Consistency plays a major role in this process. Small, repeated actions build skill, knowledge, and resilience. They compound into meaningful growth. Perfection, on the other hand, often leads to procrastination. People wait for ideal conditions, perfect timing, or flawless understanding before acting. Waiting for perfection prevents action and growth. Consistent progress ensures that momentum is maintained, learning continues, and success becomes attainable. Reflection is another tool to strengthen a focus on progress. Regularly reviewing your actions, outcomes, and lessons learned allows you to see patterns, identify areas for improvement, and acknowledge achievements. Reflection shifts your attention from what is lacking to what is developed. It strengthens awareness, encourages strategic thinking, and nurtures confidence. By reflecting, you measure progress in concrete terms rather than chasing unattainable perfection. Perfection often distorts perception. When your standard is flawless execution, minor errors appear catastrophic. Progress-oriented thinking reframes mistakes as data points. Each error becomes a clue about what works, what needs adjustment, and how to improve. This approach eliminates fear of failure, encourages experimentation, and builds resilience. You move through challenges with curiosity rather than anxiety, learning to appreciate growth over unattainable ideals. Embracing progress over perfection also improves your emotional well-being. Stress, frustration, and disappointment often stem from unrealistic expectations. By focusing on incremental improvement, you create a sustainable pace for yourself. You celebrate wins, acknowledge effort, and maintain motivation. The emotional rewards of progress, satisfaction, confidence, and joy replace the negative feelings triggered by perfectionist standards. Positive emotions reinforce effort and encourage continued growth. Another practical approach is to set flexible timelines. Rigid deadlines, combined with perfectionistic standards, create pressure that is unnecessary and counterproductive. Flexible timelines allow for adjustment, learning, and iterative improvement. They reduce panic and promote sustained focus on incremental achievement. By planning with flexibility, you reduce stress while maintaining accountability, ensuring that progress continues steadily without sacrificing well-being. Focus also includes prioritizing areas of greatest impact. Not all tasks contribute equally to growth or result. Perfectionists often spread energy thin across minor details, losing sight of important objectives. By focusing on progress, you identify the actions that produce meaningful results and allocate energy accordingly. This ensures that every effort counts and that growth is aligned with your values and goals. Prioritization allows progress to be both efficient and effective. The way you talk to yourself shapes your experience of progress. Encouraging inner dialogue reinforces movement rather than perfection. Phrases like, "I am improving every day," "small steps add up," or "I am learning as I go," support motivation and resilience. Self-talk focused on perfection, such as, "I should have done better," or "this is unacceptable," increases stress and reduces confidence. By consciously choosing language that celebrates progress, you cultivate a mindset that nurtures calm and positivity. Comparison is another factor that influences pressure. Perfection often stems from comparing oneself to others. Focusing on progress shifts the comparison inward. Your growth is measured against your past self rather than external standards. This mindset creates ownership over your development and encourages self-respect. By valuing your own progress, you reduce anxiety, enhance motivation, and create a sustainable sense of achievement. It is also important to recognize the power of small improvements. Tiny changes compounded over time lead to extraordinary results. Perfectionism makes people dismiss small wins as insignificant,
which slows growth and diminishes morale. Progress-oriented thinking values every step, no matter how minor. Each action builds momentum, reinforces habits, and strengthens confidence. Over months and years, these small improvements accumulate into significant life transformation. Celebrating progress fosters positivity. Acknowledging even minor achievements encourages continued effort and reinforces a sense of competence. This practice also builds resilience because it shows that effort leads to visible results. Positivity and progress are interconnected. One supports the other. When you celebrate progress, you create an environment where calm, motivation, and forward movement are natural outcomes. Perfection often leads to avoidance. Fear of not meeting an impossible standard prevents action. Progress-focused thinking combats this by valuing effort and learning. Taking imperfect steps toward goals ensures forward momentum. Action, even if imperfect, is more productive than hesitation driven by fear. Over time, continuous action leads to mastery, confidence, and clarity that perfection alone could never deliver. Focusing on progress strengthens adaptability. Life rarely unfolds as expected. Perfectionists struggle to adjust when plans change or mistakes occur. A progress-oriented mindset embraces change as an opportunity to learn and improve. Flexibility reduces stress, enhances problem-solving, and encourages creative thinking. You become resilient, resourceful, and capable of navigating challenges without losing confidence or calm. The principle of progress also applies to personal development. Every skill, habit, and mindset shift requires practice. Trying to achieve perfection in learning or growth only slows advancement. Focusing on incremental improvement allows you to measure growth, celebrate milestones, and refine technique. Each effort compounds over time, producing tangible results while keeping pressure manageable and motivation high. Perfectionism can also limit relationships. Unrealistic expectations of yourself often translate into unrealistic expectations of others. Progress-focused thinking improves empathy, patience, and understanding. You recognize that everyone is on a journey, including yourself. You value effort, support growth, and foster collaboration. This mindset reduces tension and promotes harmony, creating positive environments in both personal and professional interactions. Focusing on progress encourages consistency. Daily actions, small habits, and ongoing effort accumulate into substantial results. Perfection is inconsistent because it demands unattainable standards and often leads to burnout. Progress allows for steady advancement, sustainable habits, and resilience through setbacks. Consistency fueled by progress creates momentum that transforms ordinary days into extraordinary achievements. Finally, progress-oriented thinking empowers your mindset. You become proactive rather than reactive. You approach challenges with curiosity instead of fear. You act intentionally rather than impulsively. You measure growth by effort, improvement, and learning rather than ideal outcomes. This mindset fosters calm, encourages positivity, and allows you to navigate life's challenges with confidence and clarity. By focusing on progress instead of perfection, you create a sustainable path towards success, fulfillment, and peace in every area of your life.
Chapter 5. Replace negative stories with helpful ones in your mind. Every person carries a story in their mind. It is a collection of experiences, beliefs, and interpretations that shape the way they see themselves, others, and the world. Some of these stories lift us up, give us confidence, and motivate us to act. Others weigh us down, fill us with doubt, and limit what we believe is possible. The challenge is that most people are unaware of the stories running in their minds. They replay them automatically, believing them to be truth, even when these stories are holding them back. Learning to replace negative stories with helpful ones is one of the most powerful steps toward a calm, positive, and fulfilling life.
A negative story is any recurring thought or belief that reduces your confidence, saps your energy, or limits your potential. It may tell you that you are not good enough, that things will never change, or that failure is inevitable. These stories often form over time, influenced by past experiences, criticism, or misunderstandings. They feel familiar because your mind has rehearsed them repeatedly. Familiarity creates a sense of truth, even when it is false. Recognizing that these stories are just stories, not facts, is the first step to tunnel them. Awareness is the foundation for transformation. Start noticing the stories you tell yourself. Pay attention to the thoughts that arise in challenging moments. Observe your self-talk when you make mistakes, face uncertainty, or encounter criticism. Awareness is not about judging yourself for thinking negatively. It is about acknowledging what is present. Once you see the stories, you gain the ability to choose which ones serve your well-being and which ones do not. The next step is challenging negative stories. When a thought arises that says "I cannot do this" or "I am not capable," question it. Ask yourself if there is evidence to support this belief. Often you will discover that these stories are exaggerated, incomplete, or entirely false. They are mental patterns, not truths. Questioning negative stories creates space for new, helpful narratives to emerge. This is how you reclaim control over your mind. Replacing a negative story requires intentional thought. A helpful story is a perspective that encourages growth, resilience, and clarity. For example, a story that says "I learn and improve with each challenge" transforms your approach to difficulties. It changes your response from frustration to curiosity. It shifts your energy from fear to action. Helpful stories do not ignore reality. They reinterpret it in a way that empowers you. They give you guidance rather than discouragement. Language is critical in this process. The words you use in your stories shape your beliefs and your actions. Negative words reinforce limitation and self-doubt. Words such as never, cannot, or impossible create resistance in your mind. Positive and constructive words like able, learning, capable, and improving reinforce progress and confidence. By consciously choosing your words, you create mental stories that support calm positivity and effective action. Visualization strengthens helpful stories. When you imagine yourself succeeding, handling challenges calmly, or making wise decisions, you reinforce the new narrative. Visualization is a rehearsal for life. It trains your brain to anticipate success rather than failure. It builds confidence and reduces anxiety. Every time you picture yourself overcoming obstacles or responding with clarity, you create a mental habit that supports the story you want to live by. Repetition is the key to change. A single positive thought will not overwrite years of negative storytelling. Consistent practice is necessary. Each day, remind yourself of the helpful stories you want to adopt. Reflect on moments when you responded effectively, learned something new, or overcame difficulties. Rehearse these narratives in your mind. Over time, they replace old negative patterns and become the default lens through which you see your life. Context matters when replacing stories. Negative stories often arise from comparing yourself to others, dwelling on past failures, or projecting fear into the future. Pay attention to when and why certain thoughts arise. By understanding triggers, you can anticipate moments when your mind defaults to negative storytelling. Awareness of context allows you to prepare helpful narratives in advance, making it easier to maintain calm and positivity when challenges appear. Self-compassion is essential. Negative stories often stem from harsh self-judgment. The story may say, "I should have done better," or "I always fail." Helpful stories replace judgment with understanding and encouragement. Treat yourself as you would a close friend. Acknowledge effort, recognize growth, and accept imperfection. This approach reduces stress, promotes resilience, and strengthens your ability to respond positively to life. Action supports the story you tell yourself. A helpful story is reinforced by behavior. When your narrative emphasizes learning, courage, or problem solving, act in alignment with it. Each step you take validates the story and strengthens your belief in it. Conversely, inactivity allows old negative stories to persist. Action bridges the gap between thought and reality, turning empowering narratives into lived experience. Gratitude can transform mental story. Focusing on what is present and valuable reduces the influence of negative narratives. When your mind rehearses criticism or limitation, intentionally shift attention to what is working, what you appreciate, or what you have accomplished. Gratitude reinforces helpful stories, promotes optimism, and builds emotional resilience. The mind that practices gratitude naturally replaces harmful stories with constructive ones. Environment plays a role in shaping mental story. The people you interact with, the media you consume, and the habits you practice all influence your mental narratives. Surround yourself with voices, experiences, and ideas that support growth, calm, and positivity. Exposure to constructive influences strengthens helpful stories and weakens negative patterns. By curating your environment, you make it easier to reinforce empowering narratives consistently. Reflection helps solidify change. Take time each day to review your thoughts and the stories running in your mind. Identify moments when you defaulted to negativity and consider how a helpful story would have altered your response. Reflection is not about self-criticism, it is about learning. By consciously analyzing your mental narratives, you create a feedback loop that reinforces positive change. Flexibility enhances story replacement. Helpful narratives are not rigid. They adapt to circumstances, challenges, and learn. A story that guides you through one situation may need adjustment for another. Flexibility ensures that your stories remain practical, empowering, and relevant. By allowing your narratives to evolve, you maintain effectiveness and resilience in the face of change. Patience is necessary. Changing mental stories takes time. Old negative patterns are deeply ingrained, and the mind resists abrupt change. Progress comes from consistent effort, repeated practice, and gentle persistence. Celebrate small victories along the way. Recognize moments when helpful stories influence your emotions, actions, or decisions. Each success reinforces the practice and accelerates transformation. Mindfulness supports story replacement. Being fully present allows you to notice when negative narratives arise. Mindfulness is observing your thoughts without attachment or judgment. It creates space between stimulus and reaction. This space allows you to choose helpful stories consciously, rather than react automatically. Mindful observation strengthens clarity, reduces stress, and encourages intentional mental habits. Rewriting stories requires honesty. Helpful narratives must reflect reality, not fantasy. They must acknowledge challenges, risks, and responsibilities, while emphasizing capability, growth, and constructive action. Authenticity in storytelling ensures that your mental narratives are credible and motivating. They inspire consistent effort and build trust between your mind and your intentions. Celebration of progress reinforces new narratives. Recognize when you act in alignment with helpful stories. Celebrate effort, learning, and small achievement. This reinforces belief, strengthens motivation, and builds momentum for continued positive action. Over time, celebrating progress makes helpful stories more dominant, reducing the influence of negative narratives. Stories influence emotional response. Negative narratives trigger fear, anger, or frustration. Helpful stories promote calm, optimism, and resilience. By consciously choosing the story you tell yourself, you shape your emotional state. Emotions become a reflection of the narratives you reinforce daily. Mastery over stories creates mastery over emotions and promotes consistent positivity. Accountability supports story transformation. Sharing your intention to replace negative narratives with a mentor, friend, or journal strengthens commitment.
Discussing challenges and progress externally reinforces internal narratives. Accountability encourages consistency, reflection, and clarity in the mental stories you practice daily. Stories affect decision-making. Negative narratives often lead to hesitation, doubt, and poor choices. Helpful narratives encourage confidence, clarity, and decisive action. By consciously replacing harmful stories, you improve the quality of your decisions and responses. Your life becomes guided by constructive principles rather than fear or limitation. Self-awareness is the continuous thread in this process. Being aware of your thoughts, emotions, and mental narratives allows you to intervene before negative patterns dominate. Awareness combined with intention, repetition, and action creates a feedback loop that transforms your mind over time. The stories you tell yourself become powerful tools for calm, positivity, and progress. Ultimately, replacing negative stories with helpful ones is about empowerment. You reclaim control over your inner world. You shift from victimhood to agency. You create a mental landscape that supports growth, resilience, and satisfaction. This practice transforms not only your thoughts, but your actions, relationships, and life outcomes. By shaping your stories consciously, you cultivate a life where calm and positivity and natural responses, rather than occasional occurrences. Every day presents opportunities to rehearse helpful stories. Notice a negative thought, pause, question its validity, replace it with a constructive perspective, reinforce it through reflection, action, and repetition. Surround yourself with supportive environments and practice gratitude. Over time, the old stories fade, and empowering narratives take root. This is not an abstract concept. It is practical, achievable, and transformative. By consistently choosing helpful stories over negative ones, you create mental clarity, emotional balance, and an empowered life. You reduce stress, increase confidence, and enhance your ability to respond effectively to challenges. The mind that practices helpful storytelling naturally fosters calm, positivity, and purposeful action. This skill is one of the most practical tools for long-term success, happiness, and resilience.
Chapter 6. Act on small wins to build lasting confidence. Confidence is not something that appears overnight. It is not a sudden gift or a natural trait that only a few people possess. Confidence is built step by step, moment by moment, through actions that demonstrate competence and progress. One of the most powerful ways to develop lasting confidence is to act on small wins. Small wins are intentional actions, achievements, or decisions that move you forward and reinforce your belief in your capabilities. They are the building blocks of momentum, skill, and self-assurance. Many people underestimate the impact of small wins. They wait for massive achievements, grand milestones, or dramatic success before acknowledging themselves. The problem with this approach is that waiting for perfection or a huge result often leads to inaction. Momentum is lost, energy wanes, and self-doubt grows. Small wins, however, are immediate, actionable, and repeatable. Each small win creates evidence that you are capable, resilient, and capable of progress. Over time, these wins compound into significant life transformation. The first step is identifying what qualifies as a small win. A small win does not have to be monumental. It can be completing a task that you have been postponing, having a productive conversation, exercising for a short period, or learning a new skill incrementally. The value of a win is not in its size, but in its contribution to progress and growth. Each small win is proof that action produces results, and that proof fuels confidence. Action is the core of building confidence. Thinking, planning, or dreaming without execution does not create belief in yourself. Confidence grows when you do, when you take steps that demonstrate capability. Small wins are actionable steps that create a feedback loop.
Each action reinforces your belief in your ability to influence outcomes. When you act consistently, your mind records evidence of competence, resilience, and effectiveness. Confidence is cultivated through doing. Consistency magnifies small wins. One isolated win may provide a temporary boost, but repeated actions build lasting confidence. By acting on small wins daily, you train yourself to recognize patterns of success. Your mind becomes conditioned to expect positive outcomes from intentional effort. This creates self-reliance, reduces hesitation, and encourages proactive behavior. Momentum grows and confidence expands naturally as a result of repeated achievement. Celebrating small wins is crucial. Recognition of progress reinforces belief. When you acknowledge completion, effort, or improvement, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with success. Celebration does not mean arrogance or boasting. It is a conscious acknowledgement of accomplishment. This practice motivates future action, validates effort, and reinforces the story you are telling yourself about your abilities. Confidence flourishes when progress is recognized and reinforced. Breaking larger goals into manageable steps enhances the power of small wins. Major objectives often feel overwhelming, triggering doubt and hesitation. Dividing them into achievable tasks allows you to create repeated opportunities for success. Each completed step is a win, building momentum and belief. The accumulation of these incremental successes transforms daunting goals into tangible progress and reinforces the mindset of capability and resilience. Small wins reduce stress and pressure. Perfectionism often creates unrealistic expectations that lead to anxiety. Acting on small, achievable steps shifts focus from impossible outcomes to attainable progress. The sense of accomplishment from these actions produces a calm, grounded feeling. You gain clarity about your ability to handle challenges. Stress diminishes because focus moves from fear of failure to evidence of capability. Confidence built on small wins is durable because it is rooted in experience. Temporary confidence based on praise, luck, or superficial achievements is fragile. It vanishes when circumstances change or external validation disappears. Confidence based on repeated, tangible action is resilient. Each small win adds a layer of proof that you can rely on yourself, manage challenges, and create meaningful results. This confidence is internal, stable, and empowering. Reflection strengthens the impact of small wins. After completing an action, pause to consider what went well, what you learned, and how it contributes to progress. Reflection reinforces the story of capability, resilience, and growth. It provides insight into patterns of success, clarifies strategies for improvement, and strengthens motivation for the next step. Thoughtful reflection ensures that small wins do more than produce immediate results. They build lasting belief in yourself. Small wins also influence behavior. When you experience success, even in minor tasks, your actions become more confident, deliberate, and effective. Positive reinforcement shapes habits, leading to consistent performance and improved results over time. Momentum generated from repeated wins makes taking initiative easier. You begin to approach challenges with expectation of success rather than fear of failure. This proactive approach fuels long-term achievement. Accountability enhances small wins. Sharing goals or progress with a mentor, friend, or community encourages follow-through. When others are aware of your objectives, you feel motivated to act. External acknowledgement amplifies internal belief. Collaboration and support increase the likelihood of consistent wins and strengthen the sense of accomplishment derived from each action. Accountability makes small wins visible and meaningful. Visualization complements action. Imagining yourself achieving a small step before acting prepares the mind for success. This mental rehearsal enhances focus, reduces anxiety, and primes your brain for execution. Visualization of wins reinforces confidence and makes the process of acting more natural. Your mind learns to anticipate success, making each small win easier to achieve and more impactful in reinforcing belief. Tracking progress provides evidence of growth. Recording achievements, milestones, or completed tasks offers a clear view of your development over time. Visual records of progress make it easier to recognize patterns of success, validate effort, and maintain motivation. They remind you that action produces results, and repeated small wins accumulate into significant achievement. This documentation strengthens confidence because it shows proof rather than relying on perception alone. Small wins foster resilience. Life will present setbacks, failures, and obstacles. Individuals who have cultivated confidence through consistent small wins are better equipped to navigate adversity. Each win serves as a reminder that challenges can be managed, mistakes can be corrected, and progress is possible. Resilience grows as confidence in your ability to take action, learn, and improve is reinforced by accumulated wins. Prioritization enhances the effect of small wins. By focusing on meaningful actions, you ensure that every step forward contributes to overall goals. Not all wins carry the same impact. Identifying high-value actions allows small achievements to create substantial momentum. Progress becomes measurable, relevant, and motivating, and confidence grows because wins align with important objectives. Small wins influence mindset. Success builds optimism, self-efficacy, and motivation. Acting consistently reinforces the belief that effort produces results. Over time, the mind adopts a pattern of expecting positive outcomes from intentional action. This optimistic outlook increases persistence, reduces fear, and encourages exploration of new challenges. The accumulation of wins transforms your approach to life from reactive to proactive. Failure reframed strengthens confidence when paired with small wins. Not every action will succeed immediately. Viewing failure as information rather than defeat allows you to extract lessons and adjust strategies. Each lesson learned can be applied to the next small step, transforming setbacks into growth opportunity. Confidence is built not by avoiding failure, but by taking action despite uncertainty and learning from the process. Small wins also create habits. Confidence is reinforced when repeated actions become routine. Daily or regular practices accumulate into patterns of competence and reliability. Habits reduce mental friction, making it easier to act consistently. The sense of mastery over behavior strengthens belief in personal capability. The more habitual the wins, the more automatic the growth and confidence. Encouragement is a critical part of building confidence through small wins. Positive reinforcement from mentors, peers, or yourself boosts motivation. Acknowledgement of effort and progress creates an emotional reward that strengthens the habit of action. Encouragement supports sustained momentum, reinforces belief in ability, and fosters resilience when challenges arise. Confidence thrives in environments that validate and support action. Self-discipline ensures small wins produce long-term impact. Acting intentionally, even when motivation is low, creates evidence of reliability and capability. Discipline allows consistent action, which compounds into skill, growth, and confidence. Each small win achieved through deliberate effort builds mental strength and reinforces belief in your capacity to handle larger challenges over time. Patience magnifies the value of small wins. Confidence does not develop instantly, and results may appear gradual. Recognizing that progress is incremental reduces frustration and keeps focus on consistent action. Patience allows you to appreciate each step, understand its contribution to growth, and maintain momentum. Small wins, when combined with patience,
produce enduring self-assurance. Small wins impact emotions. Achieving even minor successes generates positive feelings, satisfaction, and energy. These emotions reinforce motivation, encourage continued effort, and reduce anxiety about future challenges. Confidence grows naturally when success becomes a recurring experience, creating a cycle of action, reward, and belief. Emotional reinforcement strengthens the sustainability of growth. Networking and mentorship enhance small wins. Learning from others' experiences, gaining feedback, and observing examples of achievement accelerate the process. External guidance helps identify actions likely to produce success and validates progress. Mentorship also reinforces confidence by providing perspective, reducing uncertainty, and highlighting potential in your efforts. Gratitude amplifies the effect of small wins. Recognizing what you have accomplished and appreciating your effort reinforces positive self-perception. Gratitude shifts focus from what is lacking to what is developing. This perspective strengthens confidence, reduces anxiety, and creates a mindset oriented toward growth and achievement. The cumulative effect of small wins is transformative. Individual actions, tasks, and achievements may seem minor, but over time, they produce significant growth. Each win contributes to competence, belief, and resilience. Momentum builds, confidence strengthens, and ability expands. Life begins to feel manageable, progress measurable, and challenges approachable. Small wins create a foundation for consistent success and a sustainable sense of self-assurance. Every day offers opportunities for small wins. Completing tasks, making decisions, learning something new, or helping others are all moments that contribute to progress. Acting intentionally, acknowledging effort, and reflecting on results reinforce confidence. This practice trains the mind to recognize capability, nurtures persistence, and develops resilience. Confidence built on action is durable, adaptable, and empowering.
Chapter 7. Check your energy to protect your calm consistently. Energy is the foundation of calm, focus, and productivity. Every decision you make, every action you take, and every interaction you have relies on the quality of your energy. When energy is low, patience diminishes, focus falters, and emotional control weakens. Stress becomes more intense, negativity grows faster, and small challenges feel overwhelming. Protecting your energy is not optional if you want to maintain calm consistently. It is a responsibility to yourself. Checking your energy regularly ensures that you operate at your best, make clear decisions, and respond to life with strength rather than reaction. Most people fail to notice how their energy fluctuates. They assume that life should just be managed regardless of how they feel. They push through fatigue, skip rest, and ignore mental strain. The problem with this approach is that energy depletion erodes calm. A single stressful conversation, a series of minor frustrations, or a physically exhausting day can turn even the most disciplined person into someone reactive, irritable, and impatient. Energy management is not just about productivity, it is about emotional resilience and mental clarity. The first step is awareness. Begin by noticing your energy levels at different times of the day, during various tasks, and in response to certain people or environments. Observe when you feel strong, alert, and focused. Notice when you feel drained, distracted, or frustrated. Awareness allows you to anticipate challenges and adjust your approach. It provides insight into patterns that either enhance or deplete your energy. Physical energy is the most obvious but often overlooked factor. Sleep, nutrition, and movement dramatically influence how calm and positive you feel. Poor sleep reduces clarity, increases irritability, and lowers tolerance for stress. Balanced nutrition fuels the body and brain, supporting decision-making and emotional stability.
Regular physical activity increases endurance, releases tension, and boosts mental alertness. Protecting physical energy is a direct investment in maintaining calm under pressure. Mental energy is equally important. The thoughts you entertain, the problems you ruminate on, and the mental clutter you allow influence your focus and resilience. When your mind is exhausted, small issues feel overwhelming, patience runs thin, and positivity is difficult to maintain. Prioritizing mental clarity through reflection, journaling, and problem-solving in manageable segments preserves energy and keeps your mind ready for challenges. Avoid overloading the mind with unnecessary worry or negative speculation. Emotional energy is the fuel that shapes your interactions and responses. Negative emotions like anger, resentment, or fear drain energy quickly. Positive emotions, such as gratitude, curiosity, and confidence replenish it. Checking your emotional state throughout the day helps you recognize when negativity is creeping in. By identifying emotional drain, you can take steps to restore balance, regulate reactions, and maintain composure. Emotional energy is closely tied to calm because emotions dictate how you respond to situations. Environmental factors have a significant impact on energy. Surroundings, noise, clutter, and the people you interact with either support or deplete your reserve. A chaotic environment increases mental strain, distracts focus, and elevates stress. Supportive spaces, organized, peaceful, and structured, encourage calm, concentration, and clarity. Likewise, the energy of the people around you is contagious. Spending time with negative, critical, or high-drama individuals reduces your capacity to stay centered. Choosing environments and relationships that replenish energy is essential to consistent calm. Checking energy requires regular pause. Life moves fast, and if you ignore your reserves, depletion happens silently until it affects performance and mood. Taking short breaks, moments of reflection, or deep breathing sessions allows you to gauge your energy level. Simple questions like, how am I feeling physically, mentally, and emotionally? Or am I approaching this task with clarity or fatigue? Create awareness. Pausing to evaluate your energy prevents unnecessary stress and allows conscious adjustment before reacting impulsively. Energy renewal is critical. Small acts of restoration have a compounding effect. Short walks, a brief stretch, or intentional breathing exercises restore focus and reduce tension. Mindful breaks, listening to music, or engaging in brief creative activities replenishes mental energy. Expressing gratitude, connecting with supportive individuals, or practicing relaxation techniques restores emotional energy. Regularly renewing energy ensures that calm becomes sustainable rather than temporary. Boundaries protect energy. Saying no to demands, distractions, and negative influences is not selfish, it is strategic. Overcommitting or tolerating constant interruptions depletes energy reserves and erodes calm. Setting clear limits on work, social interactions, and personal commitments preserves focus, maintains emotional stability, and allows consistent engagement with priorities. Boundaries are not just external rules, they are tools for internal resilience and sustained positivity. Monitoring energy also includes managing information intake. Constant exposure to negative news, social media arguments, or unproductive conversations consumes mental and emotional resources. Filtering inputs, limiting exposure to draining content, and intentionally choosing informative or positive sources preserves clarity and composure. What you feed your mind directly affects your energy levels, so guarding this intake is a practical step in maintaining calm. The energy of your thoughts is powerful. Persistent worry, self-criticism, or mental rumination drains resources rapidly. Constructive, focused, and solution-oriented thinking preserves energy. Shifting from negative mental patterns to helpful problem-solving strategies protects emotional and mental reserves.
Thoughts drive actions, emotions, and outcomes. By managing thought energy, you influence your overall stability, calm, and effectiveness. Prioritization enhances energy management. Not all tasks require equal attention or intensity. By identifying high-impact activities and focusing energy accordingly, you avoid wasting resources on trivial matters. Effective prioritization prevents burnout, supports sustained calm, and increases the likelihood of meaningful progress. Energy invested wisely produces better results than energy spent indiscriminately. Self-care is essential for consistent energy. Adequate sleep, proper nutrition, physical activity, mental stimulation, and emotional nurturing are not luxuries, they are necessities. Regularly assessing and meeting these needs ensures that energy remains high and calm remains accessible. Neglecting self-care creates chronic depletion, increases irritability, and reduces the ability to handle challenges effectively. Protecting your energy is protecting your capacity to respond thoughtfully and positively. Energy awareness strengthens decision-making. Fatigue, emotional drain, or mental clutter reduces clarity and leads to impulsive reaction. By checking energy levels before making important decisions, you ensure that choices are made from a place of balance, focus, and calm. Awareness of your state allows you to schedule demanding tasks when energy is high and postpone or delegate when it is low. This strategic approach enhances results and protects emotional equilibrium. Stress management preserves energy. Stress consumes both mental and emotional reserves quickly. Techniques like deep breathing, meditation, focused reflection, or physical activity reduce stress and restore energy. Stress awareness, combined with deliberate restoration, allows calm to remain intact even in challenging circumstances. Controlling stress is not avoidance. It is energy optimization for sustained clarity and resilience. Energy also comes from alignment with purpose. Working on tasks that have meaning and contribute to long-term goals produces vitality. Tasks that are misaligned with values or interest drain energy rapidly. Checking that daily actions connect to personal purpose ensures that energy is invested wisely and that calm and positivity are reinforced by intrinsic motivation. Purpose-driven energy is sustainable and deeply empowering. Monitoring energy includes recognizing emotional triggers. Certain situations, conversations, or behaviors can cause rapid depletion. Being aware of triggers allows preemptive action. You can prepare strategies, set boundaries, or adjust responses to minimize unnecessary. Proactive management of emotional triggers preserves composure and reduces the likelihood of reactive behavior. Calm is easier to maintain when energy-draining influences are anticipated and mitigated. Energy management is not passive. It requires active engagement with your physical, mental, and emotional state. Regular self-assessment, intentional breaks, and restorative practices are all part of daily routine. Energy is a resource, and like any resource, it must be managed carefully. Neglecting energy is neglecting your ability to respond effectively, think clearly, and maintain positivity. Checking energy also improves resilience. Life will inevitably present challenges, unexpected obstacles, and interpersonal conflict. Those who monitor and protect energy are better prepared to respond calmly rather than react impulsively. They maintain focus, make strategic decisions, and recover quickly from setbacks. Energy awareness strengthens the ability to navigate life with confidence and stability. Social interactions influence energy. Conversations that are critical, negative, or high drama can deplete emotional reserves rapidly. Spending time with supportive, positive, and encouraging individuals replenishes energy and reinforces calm. Being mindful of the social energy you absorb allows you to maintain equilibrium and sustain your positivity over time. Energy patterns can be learned and optimized. Observing when you feel most alert, focused and positive during the day, allows you to schedule important tasks strategically. High-energy periods are best for demanding work, decision-making, and creative thinking. Low-energy periods are better for reflection, rest, and lighter tasks. This alignment maximizes output while protecting calm and mental clarity. Reflection consolidates energy management practices. At the end of each day, reviewing how energy was spent, identifying drains, and noting sources of replenishment builds awareness and strategy for the future. Reflection strengthens the ability to anticipate challenges, allocate energy wisely, and sustain calm even in stressful circumstances. This conscious practice ensures that energy is maintained consistently over time. Preventive energy care is critical. Rather than waiting until fatigue or emotional drain appears, take proactive steps to maintain reserve. Adequate sleep, proper nutrition, mental clarity practices, physical movement, and positive social interaction prevent depletion before it affects calm. Proactive energy management is an investment in your ability to handle life with balance and effectiveness. Energy influences decision-making, problem-solving, and emotional control. Low energy reduces patience, increases irritability, and makes minor issues feel overwhelming. High energy enhances clarity, creativity, and resilience. Regularly checking and managing energy ensures that you are operating from a position of strength rather than depletion. This practice supports calm, positivity, and consistent effectiveness. Ultimately, protecting energy is protecting yourself. It allows you to respond intentionally, act decisively, and maintain perspective under pressure. Energy awareness ensures that you approach each day from a position of readiness rather than reaction. By monitoring, renewing, and prioritizing energy, you create a life where calm and positivity are the natural responses, not exceptions. Energy is the foundation of resilience, focus, and emotional balance, and it requires daily attention if you want to navigate life effectively.
Chapter 8. Express gratitude to shift your mindset instantly. Gratitude is not just a polite gesture or a fleeting thought. It is a transformative practice that reshapes your mindset, your emotions, and your perspective on life. When you express gratitude deliberately and consistently, it immediately shifts your focus from what is lacking to what is present, from limitation to opportunity, from frustration to appreciation. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and moments of stress, but gratitude allows you to experience calm and positivity even amid difficulty. It changes the lens through which you see your circumstances and influences the decisions you make, the energy you carry, and the interactions you have with others. The power of gratitude lies in its simplicity. You do not need extraordinary achievements or perfect circumstances to practice it. You can express gratitude for your health, a supportive friend, a completed task, or even a lesson learned through hardship. By acknowledging these moments, you remind your mind that life contains value, opportunities, and sources of support. Gratitude trains the brain to focus on abundance rather than scarcity, which naturally enhances calm and positivity. Awareness is the first step. Most people move through their days automatically, focusing on what is missing, what went wrong, or what they fear will happen. This habitual attention to negatives drains energy and fosters stress. Gratitude requires intentional attention. Begin by noticing small positives in your environment, achievements or experiences. Even tiny observations, like the warmth of sunlight, a kind word from someone, or the completion of a routine task, provide opportunities to cultivate appreciation. Awareness transforms ordinary experiences into sources of calm and satisfaction. Gratitude works by rewiring your thought patterns. The human mind tends to gravitate toward problems, failures, and threats. Repetition strengthens these neural pathways, making stress and negativity habitual.
Expressing gratitude consistently creates new pathways that emphasize recognition, appreciation, and positivity. Over time, these pathways become dominant. Your mind begins to seek opportunities for appreciation naturally, reducing automatic worry and amplifying emotional resilience. The practice of expressing gratitude can take multiple forms. Writing in a gratitude journal is highly effective. At the start or end of each day, list 3 to 5 things you are grateful for. Be specific and focus on tangible details rather than vague concepts. This habit enhances clarity, reinforces positive experiences, and allows reflection on progress and relationships. Writing solidifies awareness, making gratitude more concrete and reinforcing a mindset of abundance. Verbal expression of gratitude strengthens the effect. Saying thank you to others, acknowledging contributions, and expressing appreciation in conversations improves relationships while deepening your own positivity. Recognizing the efforts and qualities of people around you not only strengthens bonds, but also fosters emotional satisfaction and calm. Gratitude communicated to others becomes a shared energy that reinforces optimism and focus. Gratitude amplifies the impact of small wins. Many people overlook daily achievements or consider them insignificant. By expressing gratitude for completed tasks, progress made, or lessons learned, you validate effort and cultivate a sense of accomplishment. This practice reinforces self-confidence, increases motivation, and creates momentum toward larger goals. Small wins paired with gratitude create a consistent foundation for calm, positive engagement with life. Mindset shifts through gratitude are immediate. When your attention moves from frustration, complaints, or stress to acknowledgement and appreciation, emotional tension decreases instantly. Gratitude interrupts cycles of negativity, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. It strengthens emotional regulation, improves focus, and enhances clarity. The simple act of naming or feeling appreciation in the present moment stabilizes energy and promotes resilience. Physical engagement enhances the effect of gratitude. Taking a moment to breathe deeply, notice surroundings, or even smile while reflecting on what you appreciate increases the neurological and emotional impact. Gratitude is not merely intellectual, it is embodied. Incorporating physical awareness or gestures into your practice reinforces the experience and solidifies the mindset shift. Calm and positivity become felt, not just thought. Gratitude also strengthens perspective. Life is filled with challenges, setbacks, and uncertainty. But when you intentionally notice what is working, what has been achieved, and what is available, you maintain balance. Appreciation provides context. It reduces the sense of overwhelm and allows clarity about what can be addressed versus what is outside of control. Perspective created through gratitude protects your emotional and mental stability. The cumulative effect of daily gratitude is profound. Individual expressions may seem minor, but repeated attention to positive elements rewires your perception of life. You begin to notice opportunities, solutions, and possibilities that were previously ignored. Gratitude amplifies resourcefulness, increases motivation, and enhances problem solving by maintaining a calm and focused mindset. Your mind is prepared for challenges, and your emotional state remains resilient. Gratitude influences relationships. People who regularly express appreciation are more likely to cultivate trust, cooperation, and respect in their interactions. Gratitude shifts focus from judgment, criticism, or resentment to recognition of effort and value. Positive social energy reduces conflict, strengthens bonds, and provides mutual support. By expressing gratitude consistently, you create environments that reinforce calm and optimism in both personal and professional spheres. Adversity is a critical context for gratitude. Challenges, mistakes, and setbacks are inevitable. Without gratitude, these moments generate frustration, anxiety, and stress. With gratitude, you can reframe experiences to recognize learning, growth, or opportunity within difficulty. This perspective does not deny reality or diminish hardship. It transforms the emotional response. Gratitude in adversity strengthens resilience, encourages persistence, and maintains composure. Energy management and gratitude are deeply connected. When you notice fatigue, stress, or emotional drain, intentionally expressing appreciation restores energy. Focusing on what is positive replenishes reserves that negativity consumes. Gratitude functions as both an emotional reset and a source of motivation. By integrating gratitude into your daily energy checks, you sustain calm, focus, and effectiveness consistently. Gratitude improves decision-making. When you are focused on what is appreciated, you are less likely to react impulsively to challenges or frustration. You make decisions from a place of balance, clarity, and perspective. Emotional regulation improves because your mind is oriented toward constructive possibilities rather than dwelling on what is wrong or missing. Thoughtful choices follow naturally from a mindset strengthened by appreciation. Mindful practice enhances gratitude. Being present in the moment allows you to fully recognize the details that merit appreciation. Mindfulness slows perception, heightens awareness, and amplifies the experience of positive elements. Combined with gratitude, mindfulness cultivates calm by reducing distractions, stress responses, and mental clutter. Present moment focus reinforces the emotional and cognitive benefits of appreciation. Gratitude nurtures humility and realistic confidence. Recognizing what is working, who has contributed, and what is available prevents entitlement or constant dissatisfaction. This awareness creates grounded confidence, emotional stability, and a balanced outlook. Calm arises naturally when your mind is aligned with both recognition of effort and acknowledgement of support or resources that exist around you. Gratitude reduces stress by countering negative thought patterns. Complaints, worry, and frustration dominate the mind when attention is fixated on what is lacking. Gratitude interrupts these cycles, replacing them with focus on solutions, support, and progress. This shift diminishes anxiety, promotes relaxation, and stabilizes emotion. Stress cannot thrive where appreciation is practiced intentionally and consistently. Ritualizing gratitude strengthens its impact. Integrate it into daily routines, such as morning reflection, evening journaling, or transitions between activity. Making it a habit ensures consistent reinforcement of calm and positivity. Over time, the mind naturally defaults to noticing positives and acknowledging progress, reducing the mental effort required to maintain an appreciative mindset. Gratitude fosters optimism without ignoring reality. It allows you to recognize challenges while simultaneously acknowledging resources, abilities, and potential. Optimism born from gratitude is realistic, grounded, and actionable. It supports problem-solving, persistence, and clarity in decision-making. The emotional benefit is calm, confidence, and resilience, even when facing difficult circumstances. Gratitude also enhances self-perception. By acknowledging effort, growth, and strength, you cultivate self-respect and motivation. Recognition of personal achievements reinforces confidence and creates a mindset oriented toward continued improvement. This internal feedback loop reduces self-doubt, encourages action, and strengthens positivity in both thought and behavior. Teaching gratitude amplifies its effect. Sharing appreciation with others reinforces the mindset in yourself. Expressing recognition, acknowledgement, or thanks creates a social cycle of positivity, reinforces focus on constructive elements, and deepens emotional connection.
The act of sharing gratitude strengthens calm and clarity in your own life by making appreciation tangible and meaningful. Gratitude improves focus and productivity. When the mind recognizes positives, it can direct energy toward actionable goals rather than distractions caused by negativity. Attention becomes clearer, priorities sharper, and responses more deliberate. Calm, focused energy produces better results, and the mindset of appreciation supports sustained engagement without stress or overwhelm. Reflection consolidates gratitude's benefit. Regularly reviewing the sources of appreciation, lessons learned and progress made reinforces the emotional and mental advantages of gratitude. Reflection strengthens neural pathways associated with positivity, clarity, and composure. It ensures that the mindset shift is enduring and continues to influence daily actions and responses. Gratitude shifts mindset instantly. Even a single moment of deliberate recognition can reduce tension, improve emotional regulation, and redirect focus. Consistent practice extends this effect, making calm, clarity, and positivity natural responses rather than exceptions. The mind becomes oriented toward noticing what is working, what is possible, and what is valuable, fundamentally improving experience and performance in all areas of life. Ultimately, expressing gratitude is a tool for empowerment. It allows you to take control of perspective, stabilize emotions, and increase mental resilience. Gratitude changes the story your mind tells, reinforces focus on what matters, and strengthens confidence in your ability to navigate life effectively. By intentionally practicing appreciation daily, you cultivate a life where calm and positivity are consistent, reliable, and deeply embedded in your thoughts, emotions, and actions.
Chapter 9. Seek solutions, not blame, to stay positive naturally. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and moments where things don't go as planned. In those moments, people instinctively look for someone or something to blame. It is human nature to point fingers, to protect ourselves, or to assign responsibility to external circumstances. Yet blame is one of the most destructive habits you can carry. It consumes energy, increases frustration, and keeps you stuck in negativity. The path to lasting positivity, calm, and resilience is not in assigning fault, but in seeking solutions. When you focus on solutions instead of blame, you regain control over your life and create momentum toward meaningful action. Blame is tempting because it provides an immediate release from discomfort. It allows you to feel justified, avoids responsibility, and temporarily reduces anxiety by shifting focus outward. The problem is that it is an illusion of relief. Blame does not fix problems, improve situations, or enhance your well-being. It drains energy, reinforces helplessness, and creates a cycle where stress, resentment, and frustration dominate your mind. Those who rely on blame rarely achieve clarity or progress because they remain trapped in the past or in circumstances they cannot control. The first step in shifting from blame to solutions is awareness. Notice when your thoughts automatically assign fault. Pay attention to statements like, "This happened because of them," or "I can't succeed because of this situation." Awareness is not self-judgment, it is recognition. Observing the habit of blaming allows you to interrupt the automatic response and consciously redirect your mind toward constructive alternatives. Awareness creates space between reaction and action, which is essential for clarity and positivity. Solutions require a mindset of responsibility. Responsibility is not about guilt or punishment, it is about control and action. When you adopt responsibility for your part in any situation, you regain agency. You can ask yourself, "What can I do to change this?" or "How can I respond effectively?" Responsibility empowers you because it shifts focus from external factors to internal capability.
Solutions flourish when the mind is oriented toward action and ownership rather than criticism and resentment. Problem solving starts with clarity. The mind can wander endlessly in frustration when blame dominates. Instead of asking who caused the problem, focus on defining the issue clearly. Identify what is happening, what factors you can influence, and what constraints exist. A clear understanding of the problem allows you to create practical, actionable steps toward resolution. Clarity removes emotional noise and positions you to take confident action rather than react impulsively. Breaking challenges into manageable steps transforms overwhelm into progress. Problems often feel insurmountable when viewed as a whole, prompting blame and discouragement. By dividing the situation into smaller, actionable parts, you create opportunities for immediate action and achievement. Each step taken toward a solution builds confidence, reduces stress, and reinforces the mindset of capability and control. Momentum emerges naturally when small wins accumulate, reinforcing positivity and calm. Perspective is critical when seeking solutions. Situations are rarely entirely positive or entirely negative. Avoid seeing events as personal attacks, failures, or injustices. Step back and examine the facts objectively. Ask, what is within my control? And what is the most constructive way to respond? Perspective reduces emotional reactivity and allows the mind to focus on practical measures rather than dwelling on unfairness or fault. Calm grows when attention is directed toward outcomes rather than accusations. Solutions require action. Thinking and planning without execution does not resolve issues or shift your mindset. Once a clear path is identified, commit to taking deliberate steps. Action provides proof of competence, builds momentum, and strengthens confidence. Each solution-oriented step reinforces the belief that you can influence outcomes, handle challenges, and maintain positivity even in difficult circumstances. Action turns intention into tangible results. Reflection enhances the process. After implementing solutions, evaluate the outcome. What worked? What did not? What lessons were learned? Reflection strengthens problem-solving skills, increases adaptability, and reinforces personal accountability. By focusing on continuous improvement, you develop resilience and the ability to navigate future challenges with greater ease. Reflection converts experiences into learning rather than sources of blame or frustration. Energy management supports a solution-focused mindset. Blame consumes emotional and mental energy, leaving less available for constructive action. When you notice your energy draining toward complaints or negativity, pause and redirect focus. Engage in practices that replenish energy, such as mindfulness, physical activity, or short breaks. A mind with sufficient energy is more capable of creativity, clear thinking, and calm decision-making. Protecting your energy allows positivity to flourish naturally. Communication influences the ability to seek solutions. Avoid complaining, criticizing, or blaming in conversations. Instead, express observations, facts, and ideas for improvement. Constructive dialogue shifts collective attention from problem identification to problem resolution. It encourages collaboration, reduces tension, and fosters relationships that support progress rather than conflict. Solution-focused communication transforms stressful interactions into productive exchanges. Flexibility is essential. Solutions rarely follow a perfect or linear path. Be willing to adjust, experiment, and adapt strategies when circumstances change. Rigid expectations or insistence on a single outcome often lead back to frustration and blame. Flexibility allows creativity, resilience, and the ability to respond calmly when setbacks occur. The mind trained in adaptability is less vulnerable to negativity and better equipped to maintain positivity consistently. Focus on what can be controlled. Many challenges include factors beyond your influence.
Blaming others for these elements wastes energy and undermines calm. Instead, concentrate on areas where your actions, decisions, or responses make a difference. Directing attention toward controllable elements empowers you, reinforces agency, and enhances the likelihood of effective outcome. Calm and optimism are natural when focus aligns with actionable influence. Solution seeking requires emotional regulation. Blame often arises from anger, fear, or frustration. Recognize these emotions as signals rather than instruction. Allow a moment to pause, breathe, and assess the situation calmly. Emotional control is a prerequisite for constructive thinking. When the mind is calm, solutions become visible, choices become clearer, and positivity remains intact even in challenging circumstances. Accountability strengthens solution-oriented thinking. Share intentions and progress with mentors, peers, or supportive communities. External accountability reinforces internal responsibility, provides perspective, and encourages follow-through. When others recognize your commitment to solutions rather than excuses, motivation and consistency improve. Accountability bridges the gap between intention and effective execution, making positivity more reliable and sustainable. Learning from experience enhances the solution-focused mindset. Every challenge, failure, or setback contains valuable lessons. Instead of dwelling on who caused the issue, analyze what can be learned. Identify patterns, uncover insights, and apply lessons to future situations. This proactive learning approach converts obstacles into growth opportunities and strengthens resilience, optimism, and problem-solving capabilities. Positive framing supports sustained calm. Language shapes perception. Replace thoughts like "this is unfair" or "it's their fault" with "what can I do to improve this situation" or "what steps lead toward resolution." Constructive language reinforces focus on solutions, preserves emotional energy, and strengthens the belief that challenges are manageable. The mind adapts to the stories you tell yourself, and solution-oriented narratives foster positivity naturally. Time management supports effective problem-solving. Delays, procrastination, or poor organization often fuel frustration and blame. Prioritizing tasks, setting deadlines, and allocating resources efficiently reduces stress and creates measurable progress. When action produces tangible results, positivity and calm increase. Organized energy makes solutions visible and actionable, rather than abstract or overwhelming. Collaboration enhances solution seeking. Difficulties are often complex and require multiple perspectives. Engaging others constructively broadens options, generates creative approaches, and strengthens buy-in for outcomes. Cooperation replaces conflict, reduces interpersonal tension, and reinforces positive energy. Collective focus on solutions is more effective than individual frustration or finger-pointing. Persistence is essential. Solutions rarely arise immediately. Setbacks, delays, and unexpected obstacles are part of the process. Continuously moving toward resolution, learning from mistakes, and adapting strategies fosters resilience, confidence, and positivity. Persistence converts temporary difficulties into long-term achievement and reinforces the mindset that challenges are manageable with deliberate effort. Gratitude supports solution-focused thinking. Recognizing what resources, skills, and support are available shifts attention from scarcity to abundance. Appreciation for what exists in the present fuels creativity, reduces stress, and strengthens optimism. When you acknowledge resources rather than deficiencies, solutions become visible, actionable, and empowering. Gratitude strengthens calm and constructive problem-solving. Visualization amplifies effectiveness. Imagine yourself handling challenges calmly, identifying solutions, and taking action successfully. Mental rehearsal strengthens neural pathways associated with confidence, clarity and composure. Visualization prepares the mind to act effectively under pressure, reduces emotional reactivity, and enhances focus. The practice of seeing solutions before acting increases the likelihood of positive outcomes and reinforces a mindset of capability. Self-compassion is critical. Seeking solutions requires patience with yourself. Mistakes, delays, or failures do not signal incompetence. They provide information. Treat yourself with understanding, acknowledge effort, and maintain focus on corrective action. Compassion reduces the temptation to blame, preserves energy, and maintains emotional stability. A mindset of self-care supports calm and sustained positivity. Tracking progress reinforces solution orientation. Document actions taken, outcomes achieved, and lessons learned. Tangible evidence of progress strengthens confidence, motivates continued effort, and reduces the desire to dwell on blame. Tracking transforms abstract intentions into measurable accomplishments, reinforcing calm, clarity, and consistent positivity over time. Ultimately, seeking solutions rather than assigning blame empowers you to live intentionally. It shifts focus from external limitations to internal capability, from frustration to action, from negativity to positivity. This practice cultivates resilience, improves relationships, reduces stress, and strengthens confidence. Life becomes manageable because attention is directed toward what can be done rather than what can. Solution-focused thinking is the pathway to sustained calm, clear thinking, and empowered living. Every moment presents opportunities to choose solutions over blame. When a problem arises, pause, assess the facts, identify controllable factors, and take deliberate action. Reflect on lessons, communicate constructively, and maintain accountability. Celebrate progress, adapt strategies as needed, and continue learning. Repetition of this process embeds solution seeking as a default mindset, replacing blame and frustration with calm, positivity, and effective action.
Chapter 10. Create simple daily rituals to maintain inner peace. Creating simple daily rituals is one of the most effective ways to maintain inner peace and consistently nurture calm in your life. Life is unpredictable, filled with challenges, responsibilities, and moments that demand attention. Without intentional practices, stress accumulates, focus fades, and emotional stability erodes. Simple rituals are not complicated or time-consuming, but they provide structure, continuity, and a reliable framework to anchor your mental and emotional state. They transform ordinary days into opportunities for balance, clarity, and sustained positivity. The power of daily rituals lies in their consistency. Small, repeated actions create momentum over time. When you practice something daily, your mind and body learn to anticipate it, creating stability and predictability even in chaotic environments. These rituals don't need to be elaborate. They are about creating callings that reset energy, focus attention, and reinforce intentional living. By integrating simple practices into your routine, you're building a system that supports calm and inner peace automatically. The first step is intentional selection. Choose practices that resonate with you personally, align with your values, and are realistically maintainable. Rituals that feel forced or burdensome are unlikely to stick. Instead, identify actions that energize, ground, or inspire you. This could be morning reflection, journaling, stretching, walking, or listening to something uplifting. The key is alignment with your needs and goals. When rituals are personally meaningful, they become enjoyable and sustainable. Consistency is more important than duration. A brief 5-minute practice every day can have a more profound effect than an hour-long activity done sporadically. The brain and body respond to repetition. Each time you perform a ritual, it reinforces habits, reduces stress, and strengthens emotional regulation. Over time, these small investments accumulate,
producing calm, clarity, and resilience that persist even when life becomes demanding. Starting the day with intentional rituals sets the tone for everything that follows. Morning routines can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths, drinking water, expressing gratitude, or reviewing your priorities. These acts create clarity, focus, and emotional balance before the demands of the day arrive. They establish a mindset of readiness rather than reaction. By creating a stable morning foundation, you protect your journey and maintain inner peace throughout the day. Evening rituals are equally valuable. Taking time to reflect on accomplishments, lessons learned, or moments of appreciation supports emotional processing and closure. This prevents accumulated stress from carrying over into the next day. Simple acts such as writing in a gratitude journal, reviewing progress toward goals, or practicing mindful relaxation reduce mental clutter and promote restorative rest. Ending the day intentionally reinforces calm and prepares your mind for tomorrow. Rituals can also be integrated into transitions throughout the day. Pausing between work and home, before a meeting, or after completing a task to breathe, stretch, or reflect provides repeated opportunities to reset energy. These mini rituals interrupt the buildup of tension, increase awareness, and reinforce mental clarity. Consistent attention to these small moments creates a sense of calm that carries forward, preventing stress from escalating unnoticed. Physical activity is a critical component of daily ritual. Movement releases tension, boosts energy, and improves mental clarity. It can be as simple as a short walk, stretching exercises, or brief bodyweight movements. These activities reset both mind and body, improve focus, and reduce the physiological effects of stress. Incorporating physical movement into daily rituals ensures that energy is balanced, alertness is restored, and inner calm is reinforced naturally. Mindfulness is a central element of maintaining inner peace. Daily rituals that include mindful breathing, meditation, or focused awareness strengthen emotional regulation and attention. Mindfulness allows you to observe thoughts and feelings without judgment, reducing reactivity and enhancing perspective. By integrating even brief mindfulness practices into your day, you create a consistent opportunity to stabilize emotions, reduce stress, and reinforce positivity. Journaling is a highly effective daily ritual. Writing down thoughts, reflections, and intentions provides clarity, perspective, and emotional release. Journaling allows you to track progress, express gratitude, and analyze challenges constructively. Even a short daily entry strengthens awareness, reinforces solution-focused thinking, and consolidates learning from experiences. The act of writing organizes the mind, reduces mental clutter, and supports calm by transforming scattered thoughts into structured reflection. Gratitude rituals are particularly powerful. Taking time each day to acknowledge and appreciate people, experiences, or resources in your life shifts focus from scarcity to abundance. This practice reinforces positivity, reduces stress, and strengthens mental resilience. Gratitude rituals create a habitual orientation toward noticing what is working, rather than dwelling on what is lacking. When done consistently, this habit rewires your mindset and makes calm and satisfaction a natural response. Rituals for mental preparation enhance focus and productivity. Reviewing priorities, creating a short action plan, or visualizing desired outcomes organizes attention and reduces anxiety. Mental preparation rituals help you approach tasks with clarity, reduce hesitation, and maintain control over your responses. By structuring your mind intentionally before engaging with challenges, you protect emotional energy and increase effectiveness throughout the day. Even small rituals matter. A brief pause to drink water, step outside, or notice your surroundings has a cumulative effect on energy, focus, and mood. Tiny rituals repeated consistently anchor your mind, signal transitions, and provide mental resets. Their impact compounds over time, creating a stable foundation of calm that supports your ability to manage stress and maintain positivity consistently. Rituals also strengthen self-discipline. The act of committing to small daily practices reinforces your ability to follow through, persist, and prioritize intentional living. This discipline generalizes to other areas of life, improving focus, resilience, and emotional stability. Rituals build competence, not only in the activities themselves, but in the habit of taking care of yourself and managing your mental and emotional state effectively. Social rituals can reinforce inner peace, expressing appreciation to loved ones, checking in with supportive peers, or sharing small acts of kindness provides emotional connection and strengthens positivity. Social interactions can either drain or replenish energy. By intentionally including supportive interactions in daily routines, you protect emotional reserves and create a consistent source of positive reinforcement. Relationships, when nurtured, become a cornerstone of calm. Rituals help manage emotional triggers. When you perform consistent daily practices, your mind develops a buffer against reactive impulses. Regular grounding, reflection, and restorative activities strengthen emotional regulation and reduce susceptibility to irritability or frustration. Rituals create predictability in a world of uncertainty, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. Calm emerges not from luck, but from intentional preparation and consistency. Flexibility within rituals is important. Life is dynamic, and rigid adherence to routines that cannot be maintained creates stress rather than calm. Choose practices that are adaptable, scalable, and sustainable. Even brief adjustments maintain continuity without sacrificing effectiveness. The goal is consistency over perfection. Rituals should support life, not complicate it. Simple, sustainable, and flexible routines are more powerful than elaborate or rigid plans that are abandoned under pressure. Energy awareness strengthens the impact of ritual. Check physical, mental, and emotional states throughout the day and use rituals to restore balance. Short pauses for breathing, hydration, stretching, or reflection ensure that energy levels remain sufficient to sustain calm. Rituals act as checkpoints that prevent depletion and maintain focus, clarity, and positivity. By protecting energy proactively, you reduce the risk of stress accumulation and maintain resilience. Visualization can be integrated into daily ritual. Imagining successful completion of tasks, effective handling of challenges, or moments of calm reinforces confidence and clarity. Visualization enhances focus, strengthens neural pathways associated with positive outcomes, and prepares the mind to act decisively. Daily practice of visualization strengthens calm by aligning intention with anticipated action and reinforcing belief in personal capability. Rituals for personal growth compound over time. Daily reading, skill practice, or reflection builds knowledge, competence, and confidence. These practices reduce anxiety about challenges by reinforcing preparedness and mastery. Small, repeated actions in personal development generate significant long-term benefits. Confidence, calm, and clarity increase as your skills, knowledge, and understanding expand. Even rituals for rest matter. Intentional practices, such as winding down before sleep, reducing screen time, or creating a calming environment, improve restorative rest. Quality sleep enhances emotional regulation, cognitive clarity, and physical energy. Daily rituals that support rest protect mental and emotional reserves, reinforcing inner peace and preparedness for the next day. Accountability strengthens ritual practice. Sharing intentions, tracking completion, or having a partner support your routines increases consistency. Accountability creates motivation, encourages follow-through, and reinforces the habit of intentional action. When rituals are maintained consistently, they become automatic sources of calm, energy, and positivity. Reflection consolidates ritual benefit. At the end of the day, reviewing actions
achievements and moments of learning, strengthens awareness and reinforces calm. Reflection turns daily practices into lessons, reinforces progress, and provides insight for improvement. This process enhances intentional living, making rituals more effective in cultivating inner peace over time. Rituals also influence mindset. By repeating positive actions, you reinforce neural pathways associated with focus, calm, and optimism. Over time, these mental patterns become habitual. You respond with clarity rather than chaos, maintain perspective under stress, and approach challenges with composure. Rituals shape the mind toward stability and positivity naturally. Ultimately, simple daily rituals create structure, consistency, and intentionality in life. They act as anchors, protecting energy, maintaining calm, and fostering resilience. They allow you to approach each day with purpose, respond to challenges effectively, and cultivate positivity naturally. Daily rituals are not about perfection. They are about repeated, intentional action that reinforces inner peace and builds a foundation for consistent personal growth, emotional stability, and mental clarity. The key to lasting inner peace is integration, not complexity. Simple, repeatable practices, performed consistently, even for brief periods, generate profound results. Each ritual, whether for reflection, gratitude, movement, mindfulness, or planning, contributes to a stable and positive mental state. Over time, these rituals accumulate, creating a life in which calm, clarity, and confidence are not exceptions, but the natural baseline of experience. By creating, committing to, and adapting daily rituals, you establish control over your environment, energy, and mindset. You transform ordinary moments into opportunities for growth, reflection, and restoration. Simple daily rituals become your foundation for navigating life effectively, maintaining inner peace, and cultivating sustained calm and positivity in every circumstance.